All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the Crypto Truth, where I give you the truth as I see it. All right, man, stuff always in the way. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is gonna be my conversation, just a regular conversation, and my thought process of how I think and how I view HOT, Holofuel, Holochain, Holoports, all of these things. So first and foremost, I want to discuss the timeline. Everyone's asking when beta and have a timeline. When is going to happen? Let's think about this. They've already stated in the AMA that they're going to go on vacations. People are going to come back from vacation, different things like that. They have people working from all over the world. I guess, I suppose, I'm not sure. So we're probably looking at late January, early February timeframe before they start picking things back up again. They're testing out Holofuel. I'm pretty sure they'll probably have some people doing a little small tests here and there in between now and after the holidays. Now, you guys have to think about this. Mary already stated that first and foremost, they're trying to have the HOT token released in the U.S. or in Binance. No, I mean Coinbase, specifically Coinbase, before beta. Now that's before beta, so they're still in alpha. Also, they stated that later in the alpha stages that they're going to have the holoports that are received in January. They're going to want to use those. So what's happening here? If you think about it, until they reach the end of their alpha program or the end of the alpha, they're not going to get into beta. Well, obviously. But the point is that at the end of alpha, that's when they're going to start to get these holoports up and running. And obviously, they want to be able to have those holoports ready for beta. And it's extremely important that they're ready for beta. And I think the reason why they want the HOT token released beforehand, before beta, obviously is because the only way to on-ramp into Holofuel is to exchange your HOT tokens into Holofuel, right? So in order for people to take part of the program or to have their sites hosted or to in beta, they're gonna, I believe we're looking at Kazuna and a couple of other places. All of these things are going to be available all across the world. So they're going to need these holoports to be working. They're going to need holo hosting. So you guys have to think about that. So now let's look at the timeline here. Holofuel is going to take some time before the exchanges are able to put them on their exchange. You guys have to understand that with something like Holofuel, it's not a cryptocurrency. You guys have to understand this is something that's going to be inflating and deflating all of time. It's going to be adjusting constantly. And so my question was to them, obviously they didn't answer the question, but my question is, what would that look like? What would that look like for Holofuel to be listed on an exchange? And let's say multiple exchanges. Where would the price be equal to, and how quickly will it be updated? Right? I mean, because if you think about it, the exchanges will have to be connected, have their own specific Holofuel wallet. And if that's the case, that is also going to be contracting, expanded, but also, wouldn't that kind of throw things off a little bit, right? If someone wanted to invest in Holofuel, not invest in the HOT token, but let's say a millionaire, which is possible, a millionaire or whale says, man, I want to buy up a ton of Holofuel. So he buys up a ton of Holofuel. Well, that's all fun, it's all great, but how does that interact with the Holochain ecosystem, the holo hosting ecosystem, right? So there's a lot going on. Even if he doesn't even need the Holofuel, well, that just means that person, if he unloads all of that Holofuel, who knows how long the micropayments is going to be. if he just gets rid of the holofuel or doesn't need the holofuel anymore, that's what this really confusing to me. So anyway, I know that there's a lot of you guys out there who have great ideas of how you guys think it's going to work. Please, please, please inform me. Help me understand. Please don't send me a video that I've already seen before. Please don't send me or use the same language that the Holochain organization, or excuse me, the Holo organization has used before. I've read it all, seen it all, heard it all. I want some new and fresh ideas as to what I'm missing here. Because there are some things that I'm missing, and I know it because I'm not a genius, okay? But I do understand that when you're working on a project or you have a product, you need to take it step by step. You need to understand, okay, well, how exactly is this going to work? So for everyone out there who is excited about holofuel being enlisted on exchanges, I'm wondering how that's going to work. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm just saying I don't know exactly how that's going to work. So that's going to take time. Also, I had a conversation with an intelligent guy on YouTube. On Twitter, and we were discussing about about holofuel and how holofuel is going to be valuable and how it's going to take some time for exchanges. So we're looking at the very least 6 months for 1-to-1. But if you guys realize or recognize, Arthur Brock said he have no control. They have no control over whether it goes up or the dynamics between HOT and holofuel. And if they list both on the exchange at the same time. So again, there's a lot of things. I can understand why an exchange would want to have their own holofuel, because I imagine that they would want to host their own exchange, their sites for their exchanges. So I imagine that they want to do their own hosting or provide it all the way across the world. And that way, they don't have to be subject to all of these hacks and different things like that. So again, there's just a lot of dynamics going there when it comes to holofuel being listed on exchanges. Now, again, timeline. We're looking at time here. If we're trying to have the HOT token listed before beta, and we know that they're probably in the middle or 3/4 into alpha right now. Towards the end of their alpha, they're going to start having these holo ports, so they're going to start asking for these holo ports for a larger expansion. That would be the perfect time to have the HOT token listed on exchanges. Now, when this could happen, I don't know, but we are at the very least, unless something magically happens, where in the U.S. somebody opened up their eyes and be like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get this started. Coinbase, look here. I don't even understand why they say they're talking to regulators and different things like that, and how it appears in the United States. That's going to take forever. I'm just sorry. So even if it is listed within, let me see here, if it's listed February or March, there's still a lot of different projects out there. As I stated before in my last video, there's still so many projects out there. So in order to they need to have extreme clear clarification of exactly how it's going to be listed. Again, I stated this before, the United States and the SEC, they're still using the Howey test. This is all muddled grounds. Gary Gensler is not even explaining as to why he's saying no to SPOT ETFs and what's going on. I should say nobody knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes, but it is shady as hell. I will say that. It's shady. Period. End of story. Nobody can dress it up any other kind of way. This is shady behavior that's happening within the government. We've already seen it before. We're going to continue to see it until somebody just wakes up. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Somebody wakes up. So anyway, the point is that maybe February, March-ish. That's the earliest I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly. So when we're looking at time frame, I know everyone's asking about when beta, when Coinbase, when all of this stuff. You guys, you're just gonna have to be patient and know that it's coming. They're talking to regulators, and if they're talking to regulators, who knows how long this is gonna take. And no offense to the whole organization, not offense, but I can't blame the Holo organization for saying, hey, you know what? We're just going to do everything outside the U.S. and then we'll be good to go and we'll be green, super green. And then too bad, so sad for people who are here in the U.S. because good luck to you investing in a HOT token because you're just not going to be able to do it. But I find it odd because of the fact that we have Holoports that's released in the U.S. Or Holoports that's going to be available in the U.S. and they're being mailed to U.S. addresses. So they do have certain parts in the country of U.S. here where I am to where they're going to start doing these things. So it's really interesting the whole dynamics to figure out exactly what's happening, especially with HOT token listing on these exchanges. Very, very, very weird. Very, very shady stuff going on with U.S. regulations in the first place. So anyway. That's that. Okay, now let's get to the fun part, right? This is what a lot of people, this is what we've been discussing, and this is why there's kind of a slight divide. Because first and foremost, we have to understand that a lot of people have not done their research, don't know what HOT token is, don't know what Holofuel is, don't know what Holo or Holochain is. They don't understand all of these things, but it's going to become very, very clear to them very soon as time goes forward. The problem is that here in anywhere, right, across seas, if you're in Turkey, if you're in Indonesia, if you're anywhere, you really want to invest your hard-earned money into something that you feel is going to grow and mature. That's the whole ecosystem. That's what investing is all about, right? You find something early, and we're in the very, very extremely early stages when it comes to Holochain. So many of us who are in the Holochain is extremely lucky for being early, and those of you who have a million plus HOT tokens, hey man, you guys probably in good shape, and you've been holding, you're going to probably be in good shape for a couple of years from now, or maybe not even then. Maybe it'll take shorter than then. But anyway, the point is that we are looking at a time to where Holofuel, the HOT token, is still tied to Bitcoin, and that's just what it's going to be until it gains in popularity, and it'll continue to grow, and we'll be just fine. Holochain will be just fine. All right. Whew. Let's get into this. So we have the HOT token over here. Whoop. And we have Holofuel over here, which I don't even know what the tickers for that is going to be. Is it going to be HOF? I know they mentioned in the the AMA that it'll be. They said HOT and HOF. I'm imagining that's what the ticker is going to be. Who knows what it's going to be? All right. So let's look at the dynamics of this. First and foremost, we have to understand. A lot of people have to understand that there are going to be different coins and tokens available on Holochain. That's the first thing you need to understand. Okay, Holochain, as Arthur Brock stated, does not have some kind of signature coin or anything else in between. Holochain is free to use. Transactions that's used on that when it comes to holo hosting, I believe they said it's 1%. Don't correct me if I'm wrong on that. I know some of you guys will. Anyway, the point is that when we're looking at Holofuel, and there's a lot of advantages to Holofuel. So if you're on Holofuel, you're in the Holofuel ecosystem. Holofuel is a HAP, okay? Right, it's going to be one of the first HAPs on the Holo network, right? So because it's a HAP, it's in its own ecosystem, all right? So anybody exchanging Holofuel, and that's really bad. It looks like almost like a cookie. Excuse me, you guys. I'm really bad with this. Anyone that's exchanging Holofuel, right, from one person to another, free. No gas fees, right? Man, that looks awesome. So anything that's happening within the Holofuel ecosystem is going to be free. That's excellent. That's great. That's wonderful. So Holochain is going to be attached to, Holofuel is going to be attached to Holochain, in which there are going to be zero fees. Yeah, boy, we all love zero fees. And this is And this is one of the things that's so awesome about Holofuel and why people are so excited about Holofuel. You're also going to be able to gain Holofuel. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in detail. But once it's listed on exchanges, anybody can own Holofuel. Until then, the only people who are going to get Holofuel are the people who have HOT and they exchange it. So they first buy HOT, exchange it into Holofuel, or they purchased Holofuel back in the day, which I still don't. I guess they're still holding their bags on that one. So anyway, we see that it's going to have zero fees. All of these things. Arthur Brock was mentioning that people will want to use Holofuel just for identification purposes, right? So just so this person can say, okay, and you know how you have all of these keys, man. I'm telling you guys, it's nice to be able to operate and you have your own keys. And so anything else that you do within the Holofuel ecosystem will be identified by you in your single in your single area that you're in. So if somebody, a website or whoever knows that, wait, this is your Holofuel account, you're good. You're green to go. We don't need a password. We don't need a secondary password. We don't need 2FA. We don't need 3FA. And there's 3FA. Oh man. Better protect yourself out there, you guys, especially with when it comes to cryptocurrency. Having said that, let's switch over here. So HOT token is an ERC20 token. And by the way, I did not talk about Holofuel, but HOF will have an infinite amount, but that amount is always going to adjust, expand, and contract depending on the size of the ecosystem, right? So if the ecosystem is huge, Holofuel will be a certain price. If it's smaller, then it's gonna take a certain less amount of zeros, right? So this is why the dynamics between HOT and Holofuel is so interesting. Because HOT and Holofuel is so interesting because of the fact that they are going to work hand in hand. And to be honest with you guys, nobody should be worried. Nobody really should be worried, and I'll tell you why in a second. So we have an ERC20 token. Now, we can all go over this, argue about it, whatever. Right now, at the moment, there's 177 billion. That's with a B. Now, the issue is that, and the question that we all have, and many people have, is what's going to happen when the HOT goes into the reserve? Because once somebody takes their HOT, and I forgot his name, Tyrish, the Mindful Cog. He talked about this, and I do agree with him on a lot of fronts because we all have our different philosophies of what we think is going to happen. But when you exchange your HOT into Holofuel, and by the way, Holofuel is not out yet, so right now it's just HOT. But when you change your HOT into Holofuel, where does that HOT go? Is it burned, right? We all know that there's not going to be any burning, or at least that's what they say. Now, I want you guys to remember, way back in the day, he said, as of yet, and I believe it was like a very brief thing. Like, I don't think they really fully decided what they're going to do with the HOT in the reserves. But if they do switch the HOT into Holofuel, the people who switch HOT into Holofuel, and if they do burn it, it's going to serve the entire ecosystem just fine. Why? Because if HOT is in the reserve, and they can't do this every time, right? They really should do it after the 6 months to find out about holo hosting. And once Holofuel is available on exchanges, that's the key. See, once it's available on exchanges, then anybody can get Holofuel, and then they can just go from Holofuel and then pay people for hosting and do whatever you want within the ecosystem. But those first 6 months, they need to figure out exactly, okay, what is the supply and demand? What's going on here? And that's why they're like, hey, we'll just do it within the first 6 months. We can approve a 1-to-1. That's why that's why you be patient. That's why you continually be patient. After, maybe some of you guys want to wait 3 months to figure out what you want to do. Maybe you want to wait 4 months. Maybe you want to wait until the first exchange lists Holofuel. Or maybe someone said in the in the YouTube comments that we're gonna wait until the DEX, the decentralized exchange, because I do know that they're working on the DEX. Anyway, there will be a DEX. There's just a whole lot going on here. So, but if HOT is broken down, and if it is indeed sent to the reserves and the reserves are burned, with this ERC20 token, wherever it is, the price is only going to go up. I mean, obviously it's going to be, but because it's tied to Holofuel, the price is going to kind of go sideways, but the total amount of these ERC20 tokens is 177 billion. It's only going to go up. Because over time, it's just going to go up. That's just the way it is. Arthur Brock said it once again. He said it's a static ERC20 token, which means that it's going to, it's only going to be less and less, which means he didn't say that the value is going to be more. But I am going to say that, obviously, if the price is what it is right now, and you have people who bought, I don't know, there's 50 million, 50 million worth of, let's go 50 billion. That's more of a believable number. Let's say 50 billion. 50 billion of HOT is going into Holofuel. Well, that's definitely going to affect the price. And by the way, that's not considering, I mean, if we're looking at that, we're looking at what, 137? I can't add correctly, and I'm running out of ink here. Where is my other one? I had another one. Anyway, I won't worry about it. I'm pretty sure you guys can see it. But anyway, we're looking at 137. There we go, 137 billion. And by the way, if we have 137 billion, that's definitely going to affect the price. And it's not even popular yet. Like, nobody's into this. By the time this happens, it will be. So again, there's a lot going on here in which the price will be positively, there will be a positive outlook for HOT. Now let's go with Holofuel. Holofuel, as Arthur Brock mentioned, was not meant to go drastically up or drastically down. It's just going to be backed by Holo Hosting, which is not going to change drastically. In the beginning, it will, right? Because as people get involved in Holofuel and it's listed on exchanges, I imagine the value is going to go up because there will be a lot of people. I'm buying some Holofuel. They're not going to know what it is. They're not going to know what to do with it. They're just like, hey, look, I see the prices going up. I'm buying some Holofuel, right? Which is another example. It's a question I have, how that's going to be listed on exchanges. That's neither here nor there. How does somebody invest in Holofuel? If somebody wants to purchase Holofuel or get Holofuel, that means that they're going to have their own wallet address, their own Holofuel thing, which in turn obviously involves HOT. So again, my own personal opinion, in the beginning, I do believe that a lot of people who have Holo ports are going to be are going to benefit most definitely from this, because they're going to be the first ones earning Holofuel. You can't just buy Holofuel. You're going to have to earn Holofuel. And as we're going to see exactly what prices are going to be for Holo hosting and how that's going to work. Again, this is why it's so important to understand. First off, why it's if you're a Holoport owner out there, why you should be excited, because you're going to be able to earn something that nobody else can earn. you just can't earn it. It's not going to it's going to be part of the ecosystem. So right now they're doing testing. Those are just numbers. Remember, Holofuel is going to be micro payments. So again, I really don't. I don't know. It's going to be sharding anyway. I don't think there's going to be a huge issue with Holofuel. By the way, whichever one goes up, it doesn't matter. If HOT and Holofuel is on the exact same exchange, right? Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm going to check something real quick. I apologize. Okay, we're good. Wait. Okay, yeah, we're good. Sorry about that. I was moving the carpet, and sometimes when you move the carpet, you know, the thing. All right, so anyway, where was I? I'm an old man. I'm getting there. So, yeah. So if it's listed on both exchanges, right? If we have HOT and Holofuel listed on exchanges, what does it matter? The value is still going to be same whatever fiat currency you're in. So if you have 20,000 HOT and 20,000 HOT and let's say you have 100,000 Holofuel, either or is still going to be the exact same amount. So you can, whatever amount that it is, it's going to be the same amount to the fiat currency that you're going to use to off ramp into whatever. So it really is not going to matter. It really isn't. However, that's within the first 6 months. After the 6 months, we'll see a divergence. But at the same time, again, all of those people after the 6 months, they're going to know exactly where they stand, if they're going to use Holofuel, how they're going to use it, or if they want to use HOT and how they're going to use HOT. Because you guys have to remember that HOT is going to be offboarded, is an off-ramp into the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Now, here's the fun part. And one of the guy who commented made a great point, and I totally agree with his sentiments. HOT is an ERC20 token. It's connected to people are saying that Ethereum 2.0 is not going to be available for a while. I agree. Lightning Network, they have to get their stuff together. I agree. So there's a lot that's going on within the crypto space, and this is why we're so early. This is why I don't understand why people, especially some of those people out there are like, oh man, Holochain's a scam. Really? Really? Just because the price isn't reflected? Let me tell you guys something. And I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. You know what? There is no nice way of saying it. If you want to follow the crowd, go ahead and follow the crowd. But if you follow the crowd, you're not going to be part or even close to the 10%, the 5%, the 1%. Because you're doing exactly what everybody else does. If you don't want to do your own research, if you are into things just because of the because of the hype, the excitement, and everything else in between, and just follow the crowd, oh wow, cryptocurrency is going up. I need to get in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is going up. I need to get in Bitcoin. Shiba is going up. I need to get in Shiba. This is going up. This meme coin is going up. I need to get in there. Not knowing that the only people who are really going to make it are the ones who invested before. And I'm going to let you guys know the secret. That's with everything. Everything. It's not just, even with the HOT token, even with Holofuel, the earlier you are into these projects, the more benefits you will reap down the road. So I don't really understand those people out there, who are like, Holochain is a scam. Ecosystem friendly. It's definitely eco-friendly, right? Holofuel is eco-friendly. I'm not going to get too much into a discussion too much about this, but you have to understand that Holochain as a whole is going to use a whole lot less energy, and I mean a ginormous gap, a whole lot less energy than it will for proof of work, right? Proof of stake and all of these, mining these coins. It's an issue. It's a problem. And obviously, blockchain still has that problem. So anyway, we're looking at an ERC20 token. What you guys have to understand, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh man, it's trash. It's on Ethereum. It's a trash token. Blah, blah, blah. Everything else in between. Let me tell you something. HOT is out right now. Holofuel is not. And this is the same thing I've mentioned in my last video very shortly, but the reality of it is that you have to stay with the now time and then understand what the situation is and then invest when you want to or when you can't, or be willing to wait. STFU, wait and wait. So you need to understand that if you are going to invest in Holofuel, know that you're going to have to wait for those exchanges to come out with Holofuel for you to offer and implement. So if you exchange it over, and by the way, they still haven't talked. The Holo organization still haven't talked about how that's going to happen in the first place. They have stated that they're going to have a place, their own place, and then you can exchange it from one to one. I want to know who's paying those fees. How you going to pay for, are they going to eat those fees? I'll tell you what you could do is you can exchange it, and the same amount that it takes to exchange it, burn it. So the same amount that the gas fees would be in HOT, just burn it. Just saying. If you did that, that would make the people, the ERC20 people happy, or people who hold HOT, which I am a HOT holder. But that will also make the people who have Holofuel happy and excited as well, because they don't have to use that. So that liquidity that the Holo organization have, they can just use that amount, cover it, and then just burn it. And that way, everybody will be happy. But you know what? I'm not a genius. They have their ideas. And when I say I'm not a genius, I really truly mean I'm not a genius. I'm not being sarcastic. I am not the most intelligent person out there. I will say this: when it comes to processes, I always try to figure out exactly, okay, how exactly is that going to happen? We have a great idea. How is it going to work out? So again, here we go. So timeline wise, when it comes to the HOT token, please understand, again, 177 billion. There's probably less out there. People are going to, as Arthur Brock said a while back, this is like last year or whatever, people are going to lose it. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that happens within its ecosystem. And that's going to be that. With Holofuel, it's going to be very interesting, because people who buy up Holofuel, it's always going to be static, right? I mean, it's going to be a zero sum, which means that people can't lose it. Or can you? So, again, that's what I want to talk about, you guys. Please understand, I get that Holofuel on Holochain is great. It's a great hack. It's wonderful. I just don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon, and definitely not within the next 6 months. We are at least, in my own personal, humble opinion, we are at least looking at a good 7 to 8 months before we see it before we see Holofuel on exchanges. We still have to get to beta, and I don't think we're going to get to beta by the end of the year, and I don't even think we're going to get to beta before February. I'm thinking March, April timeframe, maybe, and that's maybe. And by the way, there's a reason why they said it's going to be 6 months, because they even discussed this before. It's going to take time for exchanges to do that. So again, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot that we still have to try to understand. It's still a confusing thing. This whole zero sum, this whole zero, I'm about to say Z, this whole zero sum outlook, and this new way type of currency backed by Holo, hosting backed by energy, right? This is a new concept. Not really a new concept. It's really an old concept, but we're just putting it in an electronic form, and it's organic. So there's a lot of positive things I have to say about Holofuel. But again, we have to wait until that gets there. And again, everything deals with time. Will we have time to go through and do all of these things? And I'm telling you something. Depending on where you invest your money, it just depends on how long you're willing to wait. And that's why all of these millionaires and these billionaires are getting richer and richer and richer, because they can afford to put $5 million into a project and just wait for 10 years. You're like, I made $5 billion off of that million that I invested. Yeah, boy, they can do that. We normal, regular people have to be more vigilant and we have to be more careful in how we invest our money. And so that's why it's important to receive information, break down information, and get more transparency from these crypto projects so that you can invest, so you can take care of you and your family. That's the most important thing out there. Anyway, that is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. As I always say, please, you guys, please, 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 do your own research, do your own research, do your own research. And last but not least, you guys, above all else, because this world is crazy and it is getting crazier, stay safe out there. Bye, you guys.